Okay. Good morning. Thank you for coming this morning. I'm Mikal Watts with the Watts Guerra law firm. I'm here with my law partner Brian Berryman and my partner Rose Vela from our Brownsville office to announce the filing of multiple lawsuits against Dr. Jorge Zamora-Quezada for the unnecessary treatments that he provided women and men across South Texas. He falsely diagnosed those people with rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, and other serious conditions, and plied them full of chemotherapy drugs that they did not need, destroying their lives. Our law firm has handled these kind of cases in the past in other states involving unnecessary cardiac procedures and unnecessary procedures by doctors who have chosen to line their pockets at the expense of the Medicare and Medicaid programs by putting their patients on drugs that they do not need and converting their patients into victims. What I'd like to do is to break this press conference into three segments, if you will. A lot of us have heard about this indictment that was handed down on Monday by the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Texas, alleging that Dr. Jorge Zamora-Quezada falsely diagnosed people, billed over $240 million of unnecessary drugs, and pocketed $50 million in profits as a result of this fraud scheme. We're here to bring you two examples of that. And part of that fraud scheme is to show you what it is that he did. He took money from the taxpayers at the expense of these two victims and hundreds like them across the valley in San Antonio, and padded his pocket and decided he was going to live large, driving around a Maserati, flying around in an Eclipse jet, having condos in Aspen and Mission, houses in Mission, properties in San Antonio and McAllen, and the penthouse suite at Puerto Vallarta, and condos in Punta Mita and over in California. This is how he spent the taxpayers' money that he got by illegitimately providing treatments to people who did not need them, by telling them that they had rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia, and putting them on drugs that he knew that would destroy their lives. We're here to file lawsuits against this doctor in order to keep it from happening again, and to let the people of the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas know that the Watts Guerra law firm is here to take on this fraud and to make it right. What I'd like to do right now is to introduce my law partner, Brian Berryman, who will tell you a little bit about the specifics of these two cases that we're here to talk about. Brian?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd first like to lead off by introducing our clients. Unfortunately, Christina Deras was unable to travel due to the serious medical conditions that she's under due to this basically malfeasance. But fortunately, we've got her daughter, Lucinda Rico. Miss Rico is here on behalf of her mother, Christina Deras. Miss Deras has got a really, really bad situation. She was misdiagnosed. What's that? She was misdiagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis back in 2010, and then fraudulently injected with Orencia, which is a terrible chemotherapy type drug, methotrexate, another chemotherapy type drug, and other medications for basically 8 years. When in 2018 she goes in for a bone density scan and was diagnosed, or basically undiagnosed, that you do not have arthritis. Also, we have Miss Gloria Gabriel. Miss Gabriel, same type situation. This nice lady was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis by Dr. Zamora-Quezada. She again was injected with Orencia, the chemotherapy drug, gabapentin, and unfortunately lidocaine patches, and other horrible medications that cause all kinds of side effects. In 2017, when pushed, Dr. Zamora-Quezada basically concluded that she actually did not have rheumatoid arthritis, and this is again after she pushed him to confirm her diagnosis. Terrible, terrible situation. Thank you. Okay. Would you guys like to say something? Do you guys have anything to say? Yeah, come on. Come over here. Tell them a little bit about your situation. Tell them.
Well, in perspective, not just to myself, but so many people have been brought down and are hindered by their health now. I have lost my livelihood. This is a man that I thought I could trust and believe in. And in those 6 years, my life has been destroyed. I am not the same person. I have to lay down and rest at least 3 to 4 hours a day. Physically, that's it for me. And I was a very, very active person. I hope this ends somewhere so we won't have any more victims. Thank you.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you. Lucinda, would you like to say a few words on behalf of your mother?
Hi. My mother was a very active person. She would, come and visit us, pick up her grandkids, take them to the movies and shopping, and have sleepovers with her at her home in the weekends. She was employed full-time, civil service, and all of that changed after seeing the Dr. Zamora back in 2010, and her physical condition just worsened, and now she can't even be here. She can't walk very well, and she's always in a lot of pain. When she saw the story on the news this past Tuesday, she called me crying because she felt vindicated that she wasn't out of her mind for the feelings and thoughts that she had, and getting a second opinion, and sad because she realized this is basically abuse, and just very sad and angry about the whole thing, very upset. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And unfortunately, this is only 2 of hundreds, if not thousands, of cases across South Texas where this doctor has assaulted these people. I'd like to introduce Rose Vela. Rose, who will discuss with you what we're doing about it.
Good morning. My name is Rose Vela, and I'm here on behalf of the Watts Guerra law firm. And what I wanted to do was to tell everybody, I wanted to go through what we call the scene of the crime was, the scenes of the crime. These are the offices where Dr. Quezada had and saw patients and committed this fraud in our community. He had offices in San Antonio at 8122 Data Point Drive. In Brownsville, he had offices at 451 Alton Glore Boulevard. And here in McAllen at 2601 Cornerstone Boulevard. I'm sorry, that's Edinburg. So he saw patients all throughout South Texas and perpetuated this fraud. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of this doctor who was administered the types of drugs we are talking about, we would be happy to go through your medical records and see if you have some sort of recovery from Dr. Zamora-Quezada. We're asking you, if this is the case, to call our law firm. We have offices in San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and Brownsville. So our offices in San Antonio, the phone number is 210-447-0500. In our valley, you can call 1-800-294-0055, and we are going to be launching a campaign so you can continue to see these numbers and call us again if you feel that you were a victim of Dr. Jorge Zamora-Quezada. Please feel free to call us, and we will be happy to review your records to see if you are entitled to some sort of recovery from this doctor. Thank you. Yes, that's it. What's that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Texas.
sorry. We also have launched a website. It's texashealthcarefraud.com. And again, we will be providing this information to the media and launching other means by which everybody in the Rio Grande Valley can see this and have access to justice, basically. Thank you.
We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, but before we do, I would like to say that part of our goal here is our law firm has been involved in 2 prior cases with doctors who've been indicted trying to use taxpayer monies to line their own pockets at the expense of their patients who have become their victims. This is seeming like it's beginning to be a trend. Where there's smoke, there's fire. These 2 ladies are the first 2 that called us this week. Our phones are ringing off the hook, but I fear, as the FBI has said, that there could be hundreds, if not thousands, of victims of this doctor's greed. And our law firm stands ready to assist in that process so that some of this largesse, these condominiums and jets and Maseratis and cash that this man has lined his pockets with can go back to the victims whose lives he has destroyed. Any questions? Yes, ma'am. How will our lawsuits play into the federal indictments? We anticipate that the federal government will do its own investigation, as they are apt to do after there's an indictment. They have a burden of proof to show beyond the reasonable doubt that this doctor is guilty of what he's been charged with. That is not my obligation. My obligation in a civil court of law is to demonstrate that the diagnoses that he made were illegitimate, that the drugs that he provided were unnecessary, and therefore this negligence and gross negligence by this doctor caused damage to our clients. Our aim is to achieve recovery for people in a court of law who have been victimized by this man and his clinics.
What are the legal remedies for victims, potential victims like this, when this person that is accused of doing this?
Sure. The legal remedies are contained in the folders that we gave you, and that is that Texas has a medical malpractice statute. Beginning today, these 2 ladies have authorized our law firm to do 3 things. Number 1, to file a notice of a claim. Under Texas law, you have to provide a notice of a potential claim to the doctor who could be the subject of a malpractice lawsuit. We are doing that as we speak by sending this doctor certified mail the complaints that we intend to file. Secondly, as part of that process, you send an authorization for medical records release where the doctor is forced to give us complete and unaltered records of his medical treatment of these 2 fine women and all the other hundreds that we anticipate will represent. The third thing that we'll do is we'll send those off to a rheumatologist, a person who's similarly situated to Dr. Zamora-Quezada, and he'll evaluate those records. In some cases, you'll have an easy situation where subsequent doctors have already said, hey, this person doesn't even have arthritis, as these 2 ladies. In other ones, we'll have to get that evaluation done, and then we'll take that to courthouses like the one we're standing behind and allow a jury of his peers to decide whether the diagnoses that he made and the chemical toxins that he put into these people's bodies was justified or illegitimate. If it was illegitimate, he'll have to pay for the damage that he caused in a civil trial and civil awards that juries of his peers will award in favor of those plaintiffs and against this conduct that appears on all fronts to have been driven by greed and not patient safety.
Do you believe this is going to hinder the investigation from the federal government?
No, our effort is not going to hinder the investigation whatsoever. We want to help it. Our goal is to do the medical analysis that's necessary in order to demonstrate who was a victim of this doctor. We'll do that on behalf of our clients, but with our clients' permissions, and we've already gotten it with respect to 2, we will be sharing that information with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We want to assist this investigation so that the truth can come out for better or for worse. And Dr. Zamora-Quezada is entitled to the presumption of innocence, but I have the burden of proof to show that what he did was illegitimate, and we intend to meet that burden based on what we've learned already from these 2 women and the calls that we've gotten in addition. Anybody else? Thank you for coming. We've got access for individual interviews for each of you if you'd like. Rose and our clients can speak Spanish for those of you that came from the Spanish-speaking outlets, and anything you need we'd like to do, although we are somewhat time pressed because we have to do this again in San Antonio. Thank you for coming.